Are you ready to grind? It's Sports 56 Grind Time with Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane. Now, here's Peter and Anthony.
Let's go. Let's go. Come on.
Back to being heathens today, man.
Oh, daddy.
I ain't praying for nobody.
Well,
if you're sorry,
the
just
prayers.
sorry. We ain't praying for y'all, man.
Prayer warriors.
No, I'm
prayer warriors.
I'm a prayer warrior today, not a warrior.
It was a clear black night, a clear white moon. Prayer warriors were in the street, trying to assume
Memphis versus Tennessee, so I can get some.
Penny could coach. Maybe not so fast.
Yeah.
Welcome in, everybody, to a brand new edition of Sports 56 Grind Time, live from the Family Leisure Studios on a beautiful, chilly. It feels like it's supposed to. It's December, man. I'm sick of this 75 degrees in December.
It's coming
December.
Back.
Come on, it's not Australia.
Give it a couple days, it'll be back, man.
I know. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't need it. I don't need any part of it. We have much to discuss. We got a busy show. Some pals coming on the show today. We're going to talk to our buddy CJ Hurt. Let him take a serious victory lap as his Michigan Wolverines are in the college football playoff. They will take on Georgia. We shall see how it goes. They've also got a Heisman Trophy finalist in the mix as well. So we'll talk to CJ about all that coming up in our next segment. And then 2 o'clock, Stephen Johnson's going to join us. And boy, do we have a lot to discuss with Stephen Johnson. I mean, a lot to discuss with Stephen Johnson. Maybe he's got some ideas. I don't know, because the team he's covering seems to be maybe fresh out of ideas. So we'll do all that with you coming up. We're obviously going to talk about the Grizzlies victorious again. They just cannot stop winning. They can't stop leading in these games. They've been more or less led. There's some discrepancy about the Heat tied back up.
You nerds, get on my nerves.
They haven't been trailing. They haven't been trailing.
I
told you.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me doing it. I'm just telling you. I don't care. To me, it's we're good to go. But in any event, they have not trailed in 200 minutes, which is just insane. Since John Morant was injured, they have not trailed. It's really bizarre. But that's it's the most, as I called it, the most interestingly dominant stretch in maybe in Grizzlies history. And we are going to talk about it because I said yesterday, if they won, you can make some discussion, some excuses about some of the games prior. But this one on the road in Miami, a team that had punked you out earlier, a team that has a reputation for being physical, a team that was had a lot to play for. If you go down there and do that, then we're gonna have a talk. And they did it, and so we're gonna have a talk. We're going to do that here coming up momentarily. If you want to join us, you can on the AutoZone listener line. Get in the zone, AutoZone. You can join us at 360-8255, 901-360-8255. You can hit us up there. You can call or text. We'd love to hear from you either way. Chat with us as well. We're streaming all over various platforms, apps, you name it. So all good. Feel free to hit us up there, chat away, and it jumps in. And Anthony Sane can read it, and I look forward to that. There you go. All right. So Anthony Sane, how you doing?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm really good. As a matter of fact, Peter, we did something yesterday that may or may not have been funny to some people. When we talked about praying for Coach Hardaway, but I got something today dedicated to the Memphis Grizzlies real fast, just to show you how I feel.
Okay.
About the Memphis Grizzlies. You got that queued up for me, Darren. Real fast. Because y'all know ain't nobody dropping bars on these radio waves like us, man. You hear me? Hey, this is what I told him. This is what I told him. Oh, is that just, you played it?
I thought you told me to go for it.
I just sent it to you. I don't know.
Oh, I had you rolling, baby.
All right, find me another one. Hey, we'll come back to it.
Outside.
I got you rolling. Yeah, I had you rolling.
Yeah, my bad.
You ready for it?
I don't know if it had the curse word in it, though.
Oh, no, baby. I got you.
All right, come on. Yeah, let's go.
I mean, for all intents and purposes, say radio in it. Go for it.
There you go. All
right. We'll find out.
Dedicated to the Grizzlies. Yeah, hold on. I got to throw my partner. Oh, these last 5 games, you know what, Peter? You know what? You know what, Peter? You know what? You know what we did? We ain't never trailed. We ain't never trailed. We ain't never trailed. We ain't never trailed.
West Side.
I'm not going to go through these semantics with you nerds. I'm not going to do it.
South Side.
We ain't never trailed nobody. Well, technically, if all you can say is 2-2, if all you can say is you had 2-2, I don't want to hear it.
We ain't
We
never
never
trailed.
trailed.
We ain't never trailed.
Hey, that was good, man.
You well actuallys out there. Well, actually, the game was tied at 2-2. Do you believe these people, man? Yeah,
I don't believe it. You know I don't believe him.
Yeah.
So I go.
This is what I told him on Twitter.
Something
We
else.
ain't never trailed. We ain't never trailed. Come on now. They ain't ready for that one, Pete. This is about to be a hit.
They never. No.
Wait till I drop
Hey,
some
that
bars.
was actually one of the better ones, y'all.
Wait till I drop some bars.
We
on
ain't
that.
never trailed.
Yeah.
You
What's
nerd.
we actually?
Well, actually, the score was 2-2 in the first quarter, so technically,
Shut up.
Man, listen.
Guess what? Every game starts 0-0. So that's what you mean. So what you mean?
That's true. That's true. Every game does start tied.
Man, get out of here.
Have they ever been behind? No, they have not.
No. But
Not one
it's
time.
wire to wire then. I don't care what you say.
It's wire to wire, wire to wire, wire to wire. All right, let's talk about it, man. Once again, as you mentioned, wire to wire victory over the Miami Heat last night down in Miami. The Grizzlies are now 14-10 and have a winning record both at home and away from home so far in this season. Dylan Brooks, what Taylor Jenkins called his best game, and I think it probably was, even though he was 8 of 21 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3. A lot of those were in and outs, and then the 8 assists. The 8 assists.
Yeah.
I mean, that is wild right there. Dylan Brooks didn't have 8 assists in a month. He did maybe in a season. He didn't have 8 assists a couple years ago. You talk about a black hole. I mean, and now Dylan Brooks is out here throwing passes behind his head to Desmond Bain, who's playing outrageously well himself in this season. Jaren Jackson Jr., another more of a quiet night for Jaren, but it was still very effective doing what he did. The starters were terrific. Steven Adams, a huge night for him. When he has a night like that, the Grizzlies are on a different level because he was getting everything inside. 7 offensive rebounds, 16 rebounds overall for Adams, playing really good defense in addition to that. And so, really the bench was not all that necessary. This was a game that was dominated by the starters. And the defense was, again, absolutely fantastic. The returning Jimmy Butler, really not much of a factor. Kyle Lowry, really not much of a factor in this game. It was the Tyler Hero off the bench who led the way for the Heat. But otherwise, not a lot happening for the Heat in this game. This was another super impressive performance from the Grizzlies.
Yeah, man, it's been great. I'm kind of leaning towards putting an asterisk on this game more than other people are. I know this is technically the same team that beat us a few weeks ago, where they didn't have Bam Adebayo. That wasn't Jimmy Butler we played last night because he re-injured himself again. Probably didn't need to go. Probably should have left the game a long time ago. But yeah, huge win for the Grizzlies without a doubt. But I can't say it's the same team. That was a little different, But yeah, it's crazy. It's a phenomenon. I'm not going to participate in any type of are the Grizzlies better without Ja Morant conversation. I'm not having that at all. So just want to throw that out there to you, Peter, that that's not happening. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to talk anything around it, anything close to it. So there it is. But 5-0.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think that's the discussion. I mean, I think that would be a silly discussion to have.
It's being had. It's being had, Peter, in small pockets of this weird city.
I really don't even want to have the defensively conversation. Just be honest with you.
Oh well, then you can sit it out if you want.
We're better without Ja for sure, but it's like everybody was crap during that stretch of the time. So
well, the one thing leads to the other is my point.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And this is a very important point. So Grizzlies, as we mentioned, are in a position where they've put up now 5 consecutive games of elite level defense. Two of those games they had elite level offense to go along with it, but in the rest of the offense was just kind of meh. But the defense has been rock solid. It's somewhat reminiscent of the old era in terms of letting your defense dictate the way that you play. You don't see a lot of games 97-90, 98-91. The Grizzlies have had 2 games out of their last 5 where neither team has scored 100 points. That's pretty rare in today's NBA. You don't see that a whole lot, but they've been able to do that. The thing that's jarring, and I just posted the numbers a little bit ago before the show, so we could talk about them. Anthony saying the Grizzlies went from in the 4 games prior to Ja Morant's injury, and one of those games includes his injury, the actual game itself. But in those 4 games, they played some of the worst recorded defense in recent memory, including the game against Minnesota, which was registered as the worst defensive game individually of the entire season by any team in terms of points allowed per possession and all that. Toronto and Atlanta, those games were bottom 5 level defensive performances. They were absolutely awful. They allowed the teams to shoot effective field goal percentages in the 70% range, 70%, 60%, 69%. In the month prior to Ja Morant's injury, the Grizzlies only had 1 game in which they were above average defensively, and that was against Houston when they were in their low point. Houston has now gotten better in the intervening weeks, but at their lowest point when they were in the middle of that 15-game losing streak or whatever. It's the only game the Grizzlies had that was even above average. The other games were mostly way below average, and they were all below average, and some of them were way below average. Then the injury happens. The next game and the next 5 games since then, they have played elite, not just good defense, but elite defense, including allowing 2 of the 3 best effective field goal percentage defensive performance in the entire league in those 5 games. All of them top 10 level defensive games. And the Grizzlies have gone and put up a stretch of games where not only they're not trailed, but they've played at an insane level that no team has matched in recent memory. That's a very strange turn of events. And I don't think it's a coincidence. Now, it's not to say that the Grizzlies
I don't think it's a
are –
coincidence, but it's not strictly, take away Ja and our defense is best in the league. Like, that's not the case.
No, I don't think that's
There are other things that have happened since then, Peter, that we're not factoring in.
Okay.
They had
Hit me.
a team meeting where they came together. It's like, all right, let's stop BS. That's one major thing that happened.
Okay.
Dylan Brooks has came up to speed. Steven Adams has. Dylan Brooks has came up to speed. Steven Adams is he's in his flow, bro. Like he's comfortable. He's back.
He was in his flow before.
No,
he was
wasn't.
comfortable.
He was
before.
just
He was
here.
comfortable before.
He
didn't just get comfortable between those 2 games when Ja got hurt. It wasn't like a comfort switch that he just flipped. I'm not going to hear that.
Everything
I
is
don't want to
settled
hear
in.
that. No, I don't want to hear that. No.
Steven Adams
I'm dismissing that one.
has settled in. Like he's
Dismissing
got his
that
foot
one
in.
also.
Man.
Dismissing that one. He had his foot in before.
Jaron has came around. Like
the only one I'll tell you this. The only one I'll allow is Zaire Williams being hurt. I'll allow that one because that was definitely you can throw that one in too.
Y'all won't.
The other ones I'm not. The other ones are you just. The other ones sound like you're just making stuff like, yeah, Jaron is now in the flow of his chakra is more grounded. You say like Penny Hardaway over here. We got I told these guys how to play defense. They just weren't playing it.
Came out revival.
No, man. That is too much of a drastic change for it to merely be coincidental. There is
I ain't saying it's coincidental,
including
Ja ain't playing.
But including going in the same week, playing Toronto twice and allowing 126 points and then allowing 91 points and going from miserable defense to great defense. Now again, Toronto, you could look at they didn't have OG Anunoby in that game or whatever, but that's an enormous change, and the major personnel change is Ja. Now the question again is how much of it is directly related to Ja. Ja's he's been a bad defender this year, just flat out.
In his career, he's been a horrible defender.
Well, I would not agree with that. I think in his first year he was an average defender, but his last 2 seasons, as he's focused more on the offensive side of the game, he's gotten worse defensively, and including this year where he's pretty bad. His offense, though, is elite, and his offense is more than makes up for his defense. So under no planet would the Grizzlies be better off without Ja Morant. That doesn't make any sense.
As long as you ain't
The
saying
question
that.
the question that and I'm not nobody's saying. I mean, no one should be saying that. That's just stupid. But the question should be, and really the question should be to Ja, which is, what do you think when you see this? How does that make you feel when you see the team turn into a defensive juggernaut the minute you get injured? Does that injure your pride? Does that injure you?
Yeah, of course.
Does that make you? Because if I know Ja, I feel like that's going to motivate him to work harder on the defensive side of the ball. And the ideal reaction is for Ja to up his defensive game so that everyone else feels comfortable playing it. But we talked about point of attack defense, saying everything flows from that point of attack defense. Mm-hmm. And if things break down at the top, and if you have Ja, breaking down on a repeated basis, it puts everybody else in pressure situations. It makes it harder for everybody else to defend. And sometimes, especially with younger teams or teams that are still getting their chemistry together, everything just falls apart completely. And I think that's what's happened with the Grizzlies. They've also dropped their heads. Their effort levels have dropped from time to time. Mm-hmm. So what they have to do is figure out how to get Ja on board with the rest of this defensive front.
You know what they need to figure out?
You got to play with. I mean, Ja is critical. So there's no planet where you don't need Ja Morant.
Do you get Ja off of Trae Young? You get Ja off of Damian Lillard. You put Dillon Brooks or Bane on him, and you put Ja off in the corner somewhere. Like this, you hide him the same way teams used to hide Steph Curry and hide Trae Young and all these type of things. It's really a simple thing. Like when Ja plays other teams, the point guard rarely guards him. It's usually somebody else's wing defender to guard him. Like we should be doing the same thing. Like you have to adjust your. Ja's never going to be Tony Allen. You know what I mean? So you kind of got to. You're always probably going to hide Ja Morant on defense. Like this, what you're going to have to do. And I just think you're kind of bullheaded and stubborn if you refuse to do that. When I watched the Hawks game up close and was watching, like, why in the world why are we letting Ja get cooked by Trae Young when we have a whole Dillon Brooks on his team? Most teams play with one primary ball handler. They move the ball around. Ja would basically just guard a shooter who's going to be running around off screens. I didn't understand why. I never understood why they had him. Why we let him guard other teams' primary ball handlers. That's all scheme though. That's coaching. So maybe you can do a little bit more with Tyus Jones than you can with Ja, but they should be scheming different. You should. That's all on. I'm all on coaches this week, man. That's on Taylor Jenkins. That ain't on Ja. I mean, what can he do?
Again, I'm gonna disagree with you on that.
Ja's not gonna come back any better defender than he was at first. He's just not a good defender, man. He's like 100 pounds.
That's not. There's plenty of guys in the league who are small who can be good defenders in the right system. The scheme is definitely part of it, but the Grizzlies shouldn't have to overhaul their entire defensive scheme just to account for Ja Morant. It doesn't work like that. You can't.
Peter, does work like that. That's what every team in the NBA does. If your point guard can't guard the other point guard, you don't guard him. LeBron James ain't out there guarding Kawhi Leonard.
But I'm saying you're talking about the whole scheme. You're talking about the whole scheme. Ja Morant does not always guard the other team's point guard. The Grizzlies had three different guys guarding. When they had Steph Curry, for example, they get three different guys guarding Steph Curry.
Yeah. So why are we doing that?
You make it act like there's one guy that is only guarding one guy. Here's the thing: no matter who Ja Morant's guarding, that guy's going off.
That is true.
If he's not guarding Trae Young, then he's guarding Kevin Huerter. Guess what? Kevin Huerter's going to get some shots.
Yeah, Huerter going to drop him out. Yeah.
Yeah. If he's not guarding Kevin Huerter, he's going to be guarding someone else, and someone else is going to go crazy. Bogdanovich, whatever. Doesn't matter. You can't hide him forever.
So you think Ja's thing is an effort thing?
Yes, I think it's effort also
it could be
energy. Energy.
Yeah.
Energy. Interest level and energy. That's what I think. It's because it's not. I don't think it's scheme. I think the scheme is fine, and And it's not like, Taylor Jenkins out there, John, you got to cover the best player on that. You got to guard him and you lock him down. No, he's trying to hide him. But, we've talked about this before. The days of one guy being a defensive stopper on the wing, those days don't really exist anymore. You don't get one guy, one lockdown guy, one stopper, it just doesn't. You might have that for a quarter. You might have that for a few possessions. But you don't have that for a game because teams move, scheme, screen, get guys off. It's just how it is. It's team defense. And to me, Ja has not been engaged, I would say is the word I would use, on the defensive end. Like, he's just not engaged. And I think part of that goes back to, and I said this before, I'm not entirely blaming Ja for that because I think, he's had so much responsibility on the offensive end that, much like at Murray State, you can only do so much. Like, you've only got so much energy to give. If you're being asked to drive consistently to the basket and take fouls and, finish at the paint and get knocked down, all that, you can only do so much. So I'm not going to I'm not going to say Ja's dogging it or anything. I'm not saying that at all. But it is noticeably better. And the Grizzlies are showing that they have a formula for winning games with a defensive first mentality. They don't have a consistent formula for winning games with an offense first mentality. And if you're going to play with the Ja Morant that has been on this team, that's going to be an offense first team. And we haven't seen the formula for that team winning. That's the question that I have. That's the next step for the Grizzlies.
Say that last part again, Peter. What'd you say?
I said the Grizzlies have shown, not just this year but in previous years, that they have a formula for winning with a defensive-minded, sort of defensive-first mentality. And when you have guys like Dylan Brooks and Jaren Jackson Jr., who are two elite defenders, that's kind of how it works. They don't have a formula for being an offensive-first team. And if you're playing with Ja Morant, you're going to be an offense-first team. They have to figure out how to balance those things out right now.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because they've kind of fallen back to that formula of defense winning these games, and they're very comfortable with that. Dylan and Jaren are very comfortable with that. They spent, most of the early years in their career playing like that. They're fine with that. And Desmond Bane has been, outstanding in terms of making those shots and doing stuff that some of the guys they played with earlier couldn't do. But when Ja comes back, it goes back to more of an offensive-minded, up-tempo team, and they haven't shown that they can consistently win like that. They can win games, but they can't consistently win like that yet. And that's where they have to figure that out.
I'm with you on the balance part because another thing, too, even offensively, Ja is super out of balance. We see him have games where he comes out, he looks like he's trying to score 40. Then we have games where it looks like he's deferring to everybody, and he's not trying to score at all, or fourth quarter Ja and those type of things. He's got to find that sweet spot where he can maximize himself on offense and still be able to not be a liability on defense. I do understand what you're saying on that. But I also have to add the caveat that you talked about Dylan Brooks and Jaren Jackson Jr. Those two individual players, offensively and defensively, aren't the same guys they were 5 games ago. They just weren't. You know what I mean?
No.
So, yeah, Melton, Bain, everybody, Adams, all those guys. And another thing, too, man, we're talking about Ja being out. What about the absence of Kyle Anderson, especially last night, in games where he's had limited minutes or his minutes have been decreased? Like, Kyle's been a liability, too, man. If you just want to be dead honest about it. So, which is so strange.
No, that's a great point. I'm glad that you mentioned that. That's a great point.
Because a couple years
he's
ago,
been a huge defensive liability.
Yeah, because a couple years ago, Kyle Anderson was that dude. Like, Kyle Anderson was our defensive stopper. His first year, he was great on defense, man. I don't know what's going on, injury or what, but he's just not the same, man. I don't know if he's just not engaged, but he's just not the defender he used to be at all.
Not at all. I completely agree with that. When we come back, we're going to talk to our buddy CJ Hurd about this. We're going to talk to him about Michigan, about the college football playoff situation, and a whole lot more as we continue here. Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 98.5.
Sports 56 Sports Time in the afternoon, 3 to 6, and I want to wish all of you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Have a great holiday season. Join Gabe Kuhn and me for Sports 56 Sports Time from 3 to 6 every afternoon right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions. I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. Hurricane season is upon us. Is your roof ready? Are your shingles laying down and sealed properly? Call me right now, 867-0303. They say you get what you pay for. That's why my opinion is free. Maybe you've got years of life left in your roof. If so, I'll tell you that. But if I find storm damage or a compromised roof system, I'll lay out some options for you. Don't let them tell you it needs to be replaced if it only needs a repair. Call me, 867-0303. Has your insurance company already seen it and rejected your claim? Maybe they're correct. Most of the time, they're not. They do tend to become more reasonable once I get involved, though. 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
You might not know me, but I'm Zip with the ZipCat construction app.
Why are you collecting leftover construction materials, Zip?
I'm turning it into cash.
That's easy. You can turn leftover materials into cash. Keep it out of dumpsters and help the environment.
That's why they call me Zip, the construction guru. Also, ZipCat app saves you time and money. Lets you describe a job, name your price, and get a job done.
That's smart, Zip. You're amazing.
General contractors, take a few minutes, price a job, and get it done. Download the free ZipCat app in the Apple Store or Google Play. Best tool in your toolbox.
Do you have an idea for an invention, but you don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp. They've been helping inventors for 35 years. InventHelp has helped over 10,000 inventors get patents. You can meet with an InventHelp representative who will keep your idea confidential and explain their invention process step by step. And InventHelp's databank includes over 9,000 companies who have agreed to review new ideas.
Call 800-217-4380. That's 1-800-217-4380.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
Now, back to Sports 56 Grind Time. Here once again are Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane.
We're waiting for the sunlight. When I feel cold,
oh baby,
you warm me. And when I feel I can't go on, you come and hold me. It's you and me forever, Sarah.
Oh yeah. All right, let's let our pal CJ Hurt, who joins us now from Grind City Media, former co-host for yours truly right here on these airwaves, and a true blue Michigan fan from way back. I got to tell you, I want to give you another week 2 of a victory lap. This is the longest victory lap we've ever had.
Come on, let's do it. What's going on,
unbelievable, man. Everybody else is fading. You got teams imploding. You got coaching situations that are a total mess. You got Brian Kelly acting like he's in Waterboy. You got a whole bunch of stuff happening out here. And yet Michigan has completely dominated Ohio State and then humiliated Iowa and now faces Georgia with a chance to win a national championship in the college football playoff. CJ Hurt. I didn't see this season coming, I have to tell you.
Oh, nobody saw this season coming. And then I hop on Twitter today, and hashtag boycott the Heisman is trending. And it's like, what is going on? Why are we boycotting the Heisman? Did Heisman say something he wasn't supposed to say? I didn't know what was going on. And I look, and it's just angry Michigan State fans because Aiden Hutchinson is invited to New York, and Kenneth Walker III didn't get an invite. And, oh, my gosh, this has been the best college football season for me since 1997 when Michigan actually won the national championship. When you factor in the way they went about not just beating Ohio State, but just dominating them, out-physicaling them on the football field, them winning the Big Ten again, and then Michigan State with the big little brother energy yet again. It's glorious. I loved every moment of that ass whooping that they put on Iowa. I'm talking, Iowa looked so slow and sorry. And listen, man, diversity matters. It does. And when I looked at Iowa run out on that field, and they were 4 or 5 rows deep, arms locked, 5 dudes in each row, so it was about 15, 20 actually. And I was like, yo, they don't got no black people? They know segregation ended, right? Like you can go get people now to come play football. And no, they just ran out there and they looked so damn slow. Good Lord. Gosh, Kirk Ferentz, do a better job recruiting, man. But, it's great to be a Michigan Wolverine today, Peter.
CJ, we were talking yesterday about the whole Georgia-Alabama thing and how I wouldn't be surprised if Georgia's season is over. Like, if losing that game to Alabama it's going to be kind of residual with them, where it may, they may be a little checked out at this point after losing that game to Alabama. Do you feel that at all? Do you feel something like that could possibly help you guys against Georgia?
If the game was this week, or even if the game was next week.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That was the type of loss that could, get you twice. And that's the thing with coaches. Don't let a loss get you 2 times, right? But because there's so much time in between these games, no, I don't think that it matters at all. I don't think it matters one iota. They play – this game is being played December 31st. So they've got, what? I can't do math right now. 24 days? 24 days to get ready for it?
Sure.
No, by then, the game is whatever happened in that last game has since been forgotten at that point in time. No, to me, I can't imagine it mattering at all in the slightest.
I don't know. I mean, it's a fascinating turn of events. What do you make of the insane contracts that are being thrown around? Mel Tucker up, you mentioned Michigan State. They celebrated their little brother status by giving Mel Tucker the better part of $100 million over 10 years. So 10 years, a $95 million deal. Same thing is true for Brian Kelly down in for him his family down in LSU. Family. And then of course Lincoln Riley, similar thing at USC. Mario Cristobal, 10 years, $80 million down to go back to Miami. What is happening here? Is it just because the players can start to get paid? We gotta jack up these coaches' salaries even more. This is it's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't make anything of it. When Michigan State decided to pay Mel Tucker all that money, it was like, okay, great for Mel, but why? I don't understand. Was somebody else going to offer Mel around $8.5–9 million to leave? So once that became the price for a good coach at a good program, right, I knew, if you're USC or if you're LSU, whoever goes there is going to break the bank. And then to lure who you lured away from their programs, the head coach at Notre Dame, the head coach at Oklahoma, and Lincoln Riley and Brian Kelly, respectfully, to get them away, you knew that money was going to have to be thrown their way. Oregon has all that Nike money, so of course Miami's going to have to pay all of that money that they paid, $8 million, in addition to $17 million in buyouts with Cristobal at Oregon and Diaz at Miami. This money is just stupid, and that's what it costs, though. I guess right now to have a good football program. If you have a good football program, you can make that money up, though. The support for football at the collegiate level, at the FBS level, is stupid. And if your program is good, you can make bank, not just in ticket sales, not just in bowl revenue or TV revenue, but in big money donations. People love to support a winner. People love to say, hey, I gave my money to this program here, and look what they were able to do with it. So if you get that right, you can, and by that I mean football. If you get football right, you can get so much money from a variety of different places. So, yeah, it kind of makes sense to pay these dudes this ridiculous amount of money.
CJ, it used to be a time where the biggest criticism you would get as far as coaches were a guy, if you asked him, was he going to, did he want to leave? And he said, oh, no, there's no way I'll leave. whatever school, and then the next day he's at another school. Now you got, coaches quitting in the middle of the season, and, you got coaches leaving their team, right before a possible, playoff bid and those type of things, and teams hiring coaches while they still have a coach, and all those offering coaches while they still have a coach. What are your takes on just the climate of just the turnover in college football, and just how it seems like just the wild, wild west where anything goes?
I love college football. Personally, I love college football because it's all about the money. Like, that is it. That is all. We put these larger than life personas and emotions onto our respective college football programs, or college football coaches, or what have you. It's leader of men. He's got great moral integrity. The moral fabric of him is strong. He takes boys and leads them through manhood, when in actuality, he's there to win football games to get paid. And time again, especially this year, that has been clear and evident. Nothing else matters in college football. No matter what anybody else says, no matter what a coach tells you in the living room, no matter what they say on game day or on somebody else's sports broadcast, sports airwaves, on radio, what it boils down to is, hey, are you going to pay me money and give me the control that I want to have over the program? Right? If that's what you're willing to do, then yeah, I'll leave anywhere in a heartbeat. And I love that, because it is capitalism gone awry. It is reckless capitalism at its finest, and I'm all the way here for it. Damn your morals. What that bank account look like, dog? Like, give me the money.
There's plenty of that rolling around.
It'll continue to be. Think about it. We've got coaches faking accents now. Have you ever seen that? Have we ever? Like, so thirsty for the $9.5 million, I'm going to fake me an accent. Although I'm born in New Jersey, I'm going to go to Louisiana, the great state of Louisiana, and my family love it here in the great state of Louisiana, and I can't wait to get out there on that football field and make you guys proud.
Well, Mike Norvell went and got braids in hopes of he got braided up as a young man in hopes of one day getting the Memphis job.
Like, listen, man, that's how ridiculous the sport is.
You knew it. You knew it right there. You got to get faded. Like Marcus Freeman, new head coach at Notre Dame, got a excellent fade.
He faded.
Unbelievable to have a coach at Notre Dame sporting
more
such a tight fade. I'm incredible.
More depth in that video than Notre Dame has had in the entirety of Brian Kelly's
history of this. That's right. Yeah. Newt Rockne is like, what the hell are you people? What are y'all doing up there? What is going on? What is happening? That's not. This wasn't the way I thought we were going to do this. I would, man. He's got to be good for sure. He got the gig straight away. Players, everyone just was like, yeah, you got to keep him. As long as you keep him, you're going to be fine. He is. I've never seen a coordinator get that much love that quickly. And that's what happened with Lincoln Riley to some extent with Oklahoma. I think that's a good formula for success. I don't make me not hate Notre Dame. That's going to be very uncomfortable. I was very comfortable with Brian Kelly at Notre Dame because I liked hating Notre Dame, and he's very sort of a hateable guy, so it really worked out well. But if there's going to be like a likable guy in charge of Notre Dame, I'm not interested in that.
It's so weird.
That's no fun.
You end up feeling bad in a way for Notre Dame because touchdown Judas just up and left him, right? Just gets up and leaves middle of the season. Like, that makes you feel kind of bad and puts Notre Dame in a very sympathetic light. To have a coach
I don't like that.
Just
I don't like that at all. I don't want that. I don't want any part of that. I don't want sympathetic.
It's Notre Dame though, so you can't feel that bad for him, right? Because it's still Notre Dame.
It's true, but still, I don't know. We'll see. Well, I think he's going to be a very likable guy, and I think that's going to be a problem for me. I don't like it one bit. Now let's switch gears. You got what's your take on the Tigers here? And
God,
and Penny Hardaway, and some of the conversations that he's having about some of his players.
Have you prayed for him?
Did you say your prayers? Did you say your prayers? Have you
Take
prayed?
Your vitamins in the name of Penny?
No. No, this is part of the smoke, right? This is a part of it. You go out there and you recruit these types of dudes and you say you want all the smoke. Well, okay, you start underperforming. It gets real smoky. I hope nobody on the team got asthma because it's smoky as hell right now. And we talked about this, Anthony. And this is my concern. Yep. And so, listen, I don't want to put anybody's names out there. They can, if they want to, they can call in and talk. But people in the industry, well-respected, really wise, really smart guys. We sat around and this conversation came up like October, maybe September sometime. I can't remember exactly.
You can talk about it, CJ. We talked about this on radio. He's talking about one night in Miami. No, he's talking about the black delegation of
the black
journalist delegation. Yeah, we got together. Yeah.
So right. we're talking about this.
Darian, the thing that you were not invited to, Darian. I'm sorry.
I hear you. Absolutely.
Hey, we got you next time.
No, don't worry about it. I already bumped fists with CJ. Y'all stay out of our business.
I just wanted to let you know that.
My dog CJ got me.
Yeah,
I got you. I got you next time.
We're to give you something to strive for, man. You just can't give you everything at one time.
But we talked about it.
Yeah.
And my concern was, hey, what are they going to be offensively? Because if the offense is simply throw it around and let somebody go get a bucket, that's just not going to work. It's not. And that's how you end up with an offense that has a bunch of turnovers, is there's no real structure to it that I can see. And that means that when you get in trouble, when you are going too fast, or when you're being double teamed, or when a defender rotates over that you weren't expecting to rotate over, you can't just boom instinctively do something that okay, I can do this and that person will be there. Right? I can just throw it at the elbow and my guy will be at the elbow. Throw it up high, he'll go up and get it and turn square up and we'll keep the offense flowing. No, there's a lot of thinking that has to be done. And at this age, college kids just don't have enough experience to be thinking with the ball in their hands in a way that's not going to lead to them either overthinking or doing something reckless with the basketball. Defensively, they're fine. I think Penny Hardaway is a good coach because good coaches get their teams to play really, really hard, and the Tigers do play hard, and to commit defensively on that side of the court, and the Tigers are committed defensively on that side of the court. But for whatever reason, offensively, they just can't get it figured out. And it's been 3 years of this now where this offense has been terrible, right? This offense has been turning the ball over and taking bad shots and looking disconnected, right? This isn't anything new. The same complaints that we had last year are the ones that we have again this year. And so I don't know how it gets fixed. That the wise people were telling me, hey, when DeAndre Williams came into the game, came into the fold, they cut down on a lot of those turnovers, and they were one of the best field goal percentage shooting teams in the nation last year. So they should be good to go this year as long as they don't turn the ball over. Well, they're turning the ball over now with DeAndre Williams in the lineup after an off season to prepare and to get acclimated with everybody and to build some sort of team chemistry. They're turning the ball over now with him in the lineup, and they're still taking really bad shots. So that clearly wasn't the case. They've got to figure it out offensively. The wise people at the table were also telling me Larry Brown is there now. Penny Hardaway couldn't get his assistant coaches in, but now he's got Larry Brown. Now he's got Rasheed Wallace. Okay, cool. The offense doesn't look any different, though. Right. It just doesn't. So some of that is on the players. Some of that is when you got the ball in your hand, you got to value it. You can't. DeAndre Williams, God bless him, get the rebound. Great, bring the ball up the court. Trying to initiate the break, but if the break isn't there, he's got to be able to stop at that three-point line, realize, okay, it's a 4-on-4 break. I can't do anything with this. Let me stop, get it to a guard, get down on the block, and we can initiate the offense. But no, instead he's forcing plays, not just him, but everybody, forcing plays, over-penetrating, throwing the ball away, and that's just not going to cut it. The Tigers, unlike some of these other teams, unlike Maryland, who's had a rough start of the year after being ranked, unlike Virginia, who's had a rough start of the year after being ranked, unlike Michigan, who's had a rough start to the year after being a top 5 team in the preseason rankings, unlike those 3 teams, the Tigers, they don't got a whole lot of chances to make this thing back up. So they got Tennessee and Alabama, and then 2 games with Houston, and what, right? So even if they even if they go something like 2-2 in those 4 games, is that going to be enough to get them into the tournament? Assuming that they run through everybody in the American and they don't have the random loss to Tulsa or East Carolina or South Florida or Central Florida, somebody like that, right? The Tigers have to be damn near perfect from this point on to just get into the tournament. These next 2 games are for the season. They lose these 2 games, like, yo, that's it. Yep. They're not getting into the tournament.
You got to win your tournament. You got to go win your conference tournament, for sure.
Well, that is that. Congratulations also to Josh Gaddis, the OC at Michigan, for winning the Broyles Award, just announced. So he's the Broyles Award winner. Best, that means the nation's best assistant coach.
Go get him. If you need a coach, go get Gaddis. Go get him. He's there. He's sitting there.
He's sitting there.
You could probably get him for a discount, like $4.5 million, dog. Go get him.
That's incredible. $7 million for Billy Napier at Florida. It's nuts. It's nuts.
Oh yeah. Go get Gaddis, dog. You could go get that.
Exactly.
$7 million.
Exactly.
Oh, that's a steal. Go get Gaddis. I'm gonna get it on T-shirt.
Fred P. Gaddis, also, by the way, another great spot to go get that as well. CJ, thank you very much. Congratulations again, and we'll talk next week and start getting geared up for the college football playoff.
I appreciate it, fellas.
All right, bro.
Big HBCU huddle as well for CJ. Mike Wallace talked to Kari last week. Mike continues to talk to Kari. It's the Celebration Bowl National Championship coming up in a couple weeks. JSU will be part of it. Also, a ton of big news happening in the HBCU world. So go and check out that podcast along with Rise and Grind, all kinds of good stuff from CJ. When we come back, we will get a little bit into what we heard last night from Penny Hardaway. Also get back into a little bit of the Grizzly situation. We'll talk with Stephen Johnson coming up in hour number 2 about the Penny stuff as well as we continue to try to diagnose what's going on with the Tigers. So we'll continue to do that here as we continue. Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I want to do some bragging rights. Hey, I was just the other day overhearing a conversation with Big Mike, the manager of DeSoto Auto Sales. They've got people buying cars all over the country. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. People from all over the country buy cars at DeSoto Auto Sales in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Why? DeSoto Auto Sales has the most stringent car inspection in America. They get it right the first time. Quality and low mileage. Factory warranty on most vehicles. My favorite part is the people who work there. Big Mike, all the employees are professional, friendly, and go that extra mile. Expect as you walk in the door, you're treated like family. DeSoto Auto Sales understands your time matters. We can help you find your dream car and get all the paperwork finished in less than an hour. Come see us at DeSoto Auto Sales and be part of our family. Have a great buying experience every time. 662-890-7184.
Case IH is a proud supporter of the Mississippi Farm Bureau, and thanks to a membership benefits partnership, Mississippi Farm Bureau members receive a discount of up to $500 on every qualifying Case IH tractor and piece of equipment you purchase. This discount may be used with other promotions, rebates, or offers. So join Mid-South Ag Equipment and the Mississippi Farm Bureau and pocket up to $500 in savings. Call Mid-South Ag at 662-890-3141 to get your discount today.
The People's Choice Awards, hosted by Keenan Thompson, is the only award show chosen by you, the people. So let Keenan hear you.
With nominees in every category.
TV,
movies,
music, pop culture,
and performances from your favorite artists.
Christina Aguilera,
Blake Shelton.
some cool surprises.
Plus huge icon award winners.
Halle Berry,
Dwayne Johnson,
Kim Kardashian West.
And more.
Hosted by me, Keenan Thompson. The People's Choice Awards, live tonight on NBC and E! And the red carpet starts first, live from E!
This is one of those months when you're going to spend a lot of time in the kitchen, making those once-a-year recipes that everybody's expecting. So the last thing you want to do is worry every day about what to make for breakfast or lunch. Instead, swing by Sunrise on Jefferson for some good old-fashioned homemade flavor you don't actually have to make at home. Sunrise will do it for you. Grab a mess of breakfast sandwiches to feed a crowd, or grab lunch for everyone from Sunrise, where the food is always prepared fast and fresh. Sunrise may not be able to make Nana's famous congealed salad, but we can fill in for the rest of it. Always fresh, always here for you. It's Sunrise.
Now, back to Sports 56 Grind Time. Here once again are Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane.
Yeah! All right. This is an interesting version.
Yeah, that's that live version for you, Pete.
Yeah, this is an interesting version of Fleetwood Mac. Thunder only happens when it rains. Little bit of NBA news breaking. Old Shams reporting that Indiana is about ready to push the rebuild button, and they're going to listen to offers.
Don't let Zach know that.
Receptive to trade talks on either Karis LeVert. Karis LeVert and either Domantas Sabonis or Miles Turner.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I had a dream about Karis LeVert this week.
What kind of dream?
That all young men, black and white,
were Karis LeVert?
Yep, Karis LeVert. I am Karis LeVert.
I had a dream that everybody was Karis LeVert.
I am Karis LeVert. I am.
Mike Norvell was with his braids. I just looked it up. I didn't know that.
Uh-huh.
I said,
No,
look at
for real.
Karis Norvell.
Yeah.
All jokes aside, I had a dream about Karis LeVert this week.
Okay, what was it like?
Might as well put him in the Grizzly uniform.
Okay.
No, I don't know who team he was playing for, but I did have a dream about him.
Well, what do you think about the possibility of a? Would you think that the Grizzlies would be interested in trade talks involving Karis LeVert?
He's exactly the type of
either
player.
Domantas Sabonis or Miles Turner. It does sound like each of those parts would be something the Grizzlies could make work, depending on how quickly they want to move, push the button, move forward. I think you replace Kyle Anderson's minutes with some of these minutes. You replace. Some of the other, the Conchar minutes, the Zaire Williams minutes with LeVert and either one of those guys. Grizzlies are even better at that point. I mean,
I got a deal for you.
Those guys would fit in with the scheme. Good defensive players, really good defensive players in the case of Miles Turner. Not quite so good in the case of Sabonis, but you could make it work. Yeah, I like that.
I got the trade for you right now. I got the trade for you right now.
All right, let's get it.
I don't know the numbers. I'll let you nerds do all the counting. I would trade Kyle Anderson, Steven Adams.
Okay.
The Utah pick.
Okay.
The Laker pick.
Okay.
You one more away.
And the Warriors pick.
Oh.
Because I'm starting to think that the Warriors pick ain't gonna be crap. At first, I thought it was gonna be something just incredible, but the Warriors are looking like they got inside a time machine.
3 first rounders for Karis LeVert?
No. I'm getting 2 of them.
Yeah, you said 3. I thought you said 3 of them.
No, I'm getting 2 players.
Oh, okay.
So you're trading Kyle Anderson, Steven Adams, and who else?
All 3 picks.
All 3 of them picks.
Who's your second person you're bringing
just the picks? Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm. Basically the picks, yeah.
All right.
For Miles Turner, who's youngish.
Come on with it. I'm with you.
And LeVert.
Sold.
You got your 5 that you could ride with for a while. Versatile, like rim protected, can shoot threes a little bit. Play him alongside Jaren. It's gonna be trouble.
2 rim protectors.
It's gonna be trouble. It's gonna be nasty.
Tillman coming off the bench.
Don't maybe to get one of them picks back and get them folks Tillman or BC.
Yeah, you have to give a little more money.
Who
to make that work?
Is the money short?
Grizzlies. Yeah, money short. Yep.
How much?
Not too bad. You need to add.
It's Karis' contract, isn't it, Peter?
Because Karis just got paid.
Yeah, Karis just got paid, didn't it, Pete?
Yeah, Karis is $17.5 million.
Damn.
And
what Melton make?
So you could throw in, for example, you could throw in Tyus Jones.
It's all about to say Tyus Jones.
How about Jarrett Culver?
Hell yeah, because I'm giving you all 3 of them picks. You drop you getting a bum back. There you go.
Hey, that'll work too.
Now that trade works. So
for real,
Steve. Yeah. So Steven Adams, Kyle Anderson, Jarrett Culver, and 3 first-round picks for Miles Turner and Karis LeVert. That works.
Heck yeah, I
They
did.
wouldn't get better than that, guys. I don't think so.
They're not.
Their Warriors pick is losing value by the day.
But on the surface, I don't think anybody's offering them that guy.
Lakers pick is the Lakers pick is better for than that's. You got 2 more years left on each of those guys' deals. Miles Turner and Karis LeVert.
Get it to me.
Can you make that call?
Yeah, I'm about to make it right now.
Can you pick up the phone? Call Larry Bird.
Yeah, let me go ahead and make this deal. Hold on, bro.
Co-sign him, Peter. Co-sign him.
I'm about to do something I ain't never done, man. I'm about to do an NBA. I'm about to post an NBA trade machine thing, and I despise them with everything I have. Every boiling piece of blood in me, I hate them. But I'm about to post one right now. That's one I would 100% do.
You like what he's selling, Peter?
Peter like it.
I think I'd be fine with it. I would be fine with that, but I don't think that I think you'd have to do more than that.
I throw Zaire in that joint too.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Now that would be intriguing, right there. I mean, I think for sure, I think you're talking about it's a very intriguing. That combination of guys is very intriguing. If you get Sabonis, Turner, each one of those guys still just 25 years old. LeVert's just 27.
Turner's 25.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's young.
So they all fit in.
Man, let me find out. DeAndre Williams older than. Go ahead.
Probably, might be.
Yeah.
I wouldn't shock me. So you have a number of different guys that are in that mix. I think you can trade Conchar. Conchar, went to school in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
He's white, so that definitely helps in the Indiana thing. They're
Right.
they're gonna be without T.J. McConnell.
I know that Mohawk though. That Mohawk may throw him off.
So they need to make sure that kind of a like for like replacement. I think I don't know. I think the Grizzlies would be worth just kind of poking around, seeing what's going on.
Bro, I'd do that in a North Memphis minute.
North Memphis minute.
I would love to. Sabonis is the best player out of all those.
Mm-hmm.
Sabonis is really, really good. But again,
is he a 5 though?
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think he's a 5. I'm not sure. I mean, now, if you think that if you feel confident that Jaren can be your 5, man, having Sabonis as a skilled 4,
yeah,
whoo,
White Zebo is what is coming. Get ready for the White Zebo because you get him. Just
he can pass it. He's a really good player. So. I'd be extremely.
So you would lean
interested
Sabonis over Turner, is what you would go.
I mean, in terms of talent, I really like Miles Turner as well, but
you ain't getting Sabonis with that deal.
No,
from a talent perspective,
he's their best player.
I'd be very intrigued to see what happened if you throw Sabonis along with Jaren. Man, I think that's a really.
It could be nasty.
Woo.
Why are the Pacers not better than this?
Because of Malcolm Brogdon. Yeah. Brogdon's good, but he's not the little engine that could, in my opinion. He needs to go back to Milwaukee.
But they've got a lot of guys that can just flat out play basketball on the team. Not particularly stars, but they got good basketball players.
You need dudes, man. You know that.
Yeah, I think I don't know. They should be better than this for sure.
Just a lot of.
And they got Rick Carlisle as a coach. I mean, come on, he's been around.
Who's also getting an unbelievable pass for stuff that happened 10 years ago.
Travis Best ain't walking through that door.
Reggie Miller.
Rick Smits.
Shout out to Travis Best, man.
Dale or Antonio Davis.
Dale or Antonio.
Ain't happening.
Little Chris Mullin action.
Mark Jackson, though. Maybe he's
might.
walking through that door. Maybe coaching through that door. I don't know.
Hour
number 2 on the way. When we get to hour number 2, you're going to hear from our good friend, Stephen Johnson. We have a lot to discuss. We have a lot to discuss for this whole situation because, unfortunately, it's a mess. But we'll talk about it when we continue here. Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
You may be into punk rock, soft rock, or classic rock, R&B, hip-hop, or house, country, techno, or techno-country. But no matter what kind of music you listen to, here's something else you should hear. Please consider getting vaccinated. Talk to your pharmacist today about Comirnaty, COVID-19 vaccine mRNA. This message brought to you by BioNTech and Pfizer.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. Hurricane season is upon us. Is your roof ready? Are your shingles laying down and sealed properly? Call me right now, 867-0303. They say you get what you pay for. That's why my opinion is free. Maybe you've got years of life left in your roof. If so, I'll tell you that. But if I find storm damage or a compromised roof system, I'll lay out some options for you. Don't let them tell you it needs to be replaced if it only needs a repair. Call me, 867-0303. Has your insurance company already seen it and rejected your claim? Maybe they're correct. Most of the time, they're not. They do tend to become more reasonable once I get involved, though. 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Grind Time. Here once again are Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane.
That's the way it should be.
Say me.
Bro, your headphones made the biggest rustle.
Oh, did they? They go.
Oh man,
it happens
bro.
sometimes.
Are we? I'm really saying this is the best with you to get you fired up, Peter. But are we post-COVID enough to go back to regular mics? Can we put in a service request to get those reinstalled?
I don't think it's going to happen. We made that change before COVID, my friend. So.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
I thought this was a COVID thing.
No.
All them the same microphones they've been wearing all day, dog.
Yep.
Are the old ones anywhere around here? Can I get the regular mic? Because when I get loud, I peak in this. Like, I need the mic that DJ had on. DJ had on.
You're gonna peak. You're gonna peak on the other one too.
For real?
You're gonna peak on the other one too.
Oh, okay.
That's a different. You can modulate on that.
With the space modulator.
That's on our mixers. That's on our mixer situation.
Oh, okay.
You know,
need to adjust the space modulator.
Told you, I just want y'all to know y'all are my Balky and Larry. I don't know which one of y'all are Balky, which one of y'all are Larry, but I'll take it.
How about that? How about that?
Perfect straight.
Since I have more of a, we avoid get offended anybody. But no, I've been to places and I was doing a DoorDash delivery and went to an Indian restaurant, and I came out the restaurant and the guy was standing outside that worked there, and he started having a full conversation to me in Farsi. Like, brother, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
Indian.
Did he hit you with a main?
No.
You go with the main.
He was speaking full. It's Farsi, right? That's the language.
That's usually in Iran, Farsi.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Indian would be Hindi, maybe.
Where he was speaking that, and I was like, fam.
You said fam.
I pulled my mask
Did
down.
you
I
say
was like, brother, I'm black. He's so sorry, so sorry, my friend. I was like, all right, it's all good. But I get that all the time. I get that.
He ain't try to give you nothing what Crunchy Black was getting from what's it?
No,
Lazy Bone. No, that was the other way around. Lazy Bone was big and Crunchy Black.
Yeah, he ain't hit me with nothing.
There you go. So we got a lot to get to here in hour number 2. We begin right out of the gate. Peter Evanston, Anthony Sane with you on this nice, chilly and good Tuesday. We gotta bring back our friend. We've talked to him a lot lately. It's been a
He's guest hosted. He's came in when you weren't here.
Yeah, it's just been a tumultuous time for this man.
I'm hearing this brother on the airways a lot, man.
He's doing the best he can to deal with all this newfound attention, and not necessarily in the way that he expected it to be. Stephen Johnson from the Daily Memphis covers University of Memphis team in crisis right now, and joining us now. Good afternoon, Stephen. How are you dealing with the crisis?
Like you said, it's a lot of attention, maybe in a way you didn't want it to be, but hey, we know how people feel about drama, and there's plenty of it right now.
Steve, when you were up Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon, did you find time to say a quick prayer for Penny Hardaway and his team, or do you think you actually have to be a prayer warrior for your prayers to go through?
I saw the request, but I couldn't oblige him on that one. But it seems like from what he said, seems like everybody else came to the call. He said the worst is over with after he went to church. I found the whole.
But he said that for real?
I just found that interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I found that interesting.
Do you have is there a running total of the amount of prayers that went through, like a hotline or like a fundraiser? Like, do you know how many?
The tote board is the tote board fully.
Judge Brown looked at Brookhaven last night. I would say, man, they probably called the machine off. There ain't no more room for no voicemail, no more prayers, because it was. You wouldn't think the team was in the middle of a crisis if you were there at his first radio show last night. He came out to a standing ovation, snuck out through the kitchen. So it was an interesting environment last night as well too.
So when you've seen and you've watched this team play, and we've heard Penny's evaluation. What do you make of his evaluation of the team, that it is really the veterans' fault largely, that selfishness is a major issue, that there are a lot of guys that are really fighting against even the guys on the team, the young guys, he's having to deal with that in addition to everything else, and that if he just had a bunch of guys that cared, they'd probably be undefeated or maybe have only lost one game?
I like I said, just from his tones, it started with Georgia, continue with Ole Miss. I didn't walk it back last night, but I think he was a little more measured in his criticism of those veteran players. I guess it's surprising. You would think that maybe it might be one guy that wasn't satisfied with his touches and things like that, but from the way Penny described it, it's almost like a battle in there. Like, you got one set over here of the young guys, the other set of the veterans and things like that. And I think that's the worst case scenario. That's, press the panic button, code red, where you have that type of perceived infighting. And, he had that quote, you can't have your own teammates be the opposition and then go up against another team, which I thought was just really damning. Really damning about it.
Yeah, that's a really bad one, yeah.
So it's like, it's not that these guys don't have chemistry on the court. Just from what he said, it sounds like they almost, I don't want to use the word hate, but there's like some strong dislike in here that seems to maybe even go beyond just, I want my
Penny said some pretty alarming things when it came down to Imani Bates, saying that, well, they were very alarming. Anything that involves mental health, I'm going to, flags are going to raise up for me. Where he said basically that he was considering quitting basketball. And I'm assuming that that's something that happened since he came to University of Memphis. I don't think he's talking about a conversation where he talked about quitting over the summer or something. I'm sure this is something that since he's came here, been a disappointment that he's gone through those struggles. How much do you feel like this kind of, to me, that shot off a major red flag? Like, okay, there may be something critically going on with this young man. How much of what you said, from what Penny said, do you think is actually true? Like, this truly stated, like what he said. Not saying he's lying about it, but you kind of get what I'm saying. But how much of that do you think is true, and how concerned are you personally to hear that coming from a young man?
I think well, Penny said that they had the conversation about a month to 3 weeks ago, which would have been, I believe, the start right before the start of the regular season, or right around the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I talked to some other people that Imani really felt this way before he got to Memphis. He dealt with some losses to some people around him, and the pressure that really kind of got to him before his recruitment kind of sped up and things like that. So, regardless of the timeline, I think what Penny overall said was true. Maybe the timeline of when Imani said this might be a little bit different, but I do think that the relationship he has with Imani is genuine, which is kind of one of the reasons that he's been so protective of him in the media. I mean, you could almost argue that he's clearly taking the side of Jalen Duren and Imani Bates in this so-called clash between the veterans and the freshmen. And just hearing them talk yesterday, I really feel like he sees himself a little bit in Imani, and he wonders how he will be able to do it coming out. We know how big he was in Memphis before Twitter and all that stuff. So I think he wonders how he would do handling all that stuff. So as a red flag, it wasn't necessarily one to me because he's talked about the pressure before. He has been in the spotlight. And just from what I know and from what I've seen, it doesn't seem like he's lost that fire. He's just trying to find a way to break out of this drought he's been in these last couple of days.
Well, the idea that he's, I don't know, Stephen. You obviously you're closer to the fans than I am in their immediate reactions. But in the last two games, in the Georgia game and the Ole Miss game, in the immediate aftermath of the games, I've seen a lot of fans say, like within 10, 15 minutes after the game, like, hey, in the Georgia game, hey, the offense is looking pretty good. Hey, there's some positivity, there's some good stuff, there's some things happening. And then, in the Ole Miss game, it's like, well, look, hey, they made the turn. They made some progress here a little bit. Just the referees were horrible, all this stuff. But then as soon as Penny actually comes out and starts talking after these games, it makes it that much worse. My question is, what is he trying, like, why, in your opinion, does Penny feel the need to put guys through the ringer like this publicly? I get being honest and stuff, and honesty's great, and he's a great quote. For those of you guys on the beat, that's great because, you get quotes like that. That's a beat writer's dream. But what is he trying to accomplish?
I thought originally it was kind of just maybe that was just his way of challenging the players. Maybe he felt like he wasn't getting to them behind the scenes. So if he put this out after these games, then maybe that would be the message. But honestly, what you said is spot on. Fans aren't necessarily pleased after these games, but a lot of them can be optimistic. Like you said, the offense looked better, or hey, we made a run at the end of the game. But then when Penny kind of comes out and says, we got selfish guys, they don't like each other, Imani's battling his own teammates, let alone other fans, like, it paints a picture of not only a struggling team, but it makes them wonder, like, how did you let this environment get so bad where, Jeff Calkins asked him if he thought any of the veterans would be leaving, and he didn't sound sure. He didn't sound sure.
Right.
It almost sounded like he almost expected somebody to be leaving. So I think he made sure to change his tone a little bit at the radio show. It was a lot more focused on himself. I need to be better. I have to be more accountable. I have to take ownership. So I wonder if he'll do that again and say next week they lose to Alabama or Tennessee.
Steven, something I noticed about Penny as well is that he doesn't, like you came in joking about the smoke thing and those type of things, but he doesn't avoid anything. Like, he answers questions almost too honest. You know what I mean? Like, he never appears to be offended or frustrated by any question that's asked. He gives an answer to the question in pretty much the most transparent way possible. Do you find that strange or odd at all that someone like Coach Hardaway, who has the team seems to be in such a toxic situation, so much turmoil with the players on and off the court, guys who are playing and guys who aren't playing. Do you find it odd that he doesn't avoid anything? Like there's plenty of ways he can just spin himself out of a lot of situations, but he never seems to do that.
I wouldn't even say strange. I guess it's just kind of just how he is. Because I know, like, after the Georgia game, like, I just know he knew the AAU comment was just going to blow up on social media for the worst. Like, we had people, Kentucky folks, Tennessee folks, everybody ate that up. So I got to think that he knew comments like that would draw that specific reaction. But, you know, he's a younger coach. Maybe he doesn't. Well, not every coach wants to go through the coach speak, and like kind of Peter alluded to, I mean, it's great for us because those quotes, like I said, my mentions are popping for another day or two after a game is over because of the comments. But maybe it's not the best avenue to communicate towards the team. So, I mean, it's good. Like, it's good for us. I don't know how good it is for the team itself, but you know, when you open yourself up like that. When you're that honest, sometimes it can kind of work against you. And I think sometimes it has. I don't know necessarily with the players, but definitely in the public face after the game. It's almost like you're adding insult to injury when you come out and kind of air all your dirty laundry.
Well, here's the other thing that I'm curious about. So in these comments, you know, amid all of the, you know, like, you know, throwing everybody under the bus or whatever, there's often, like, you know, punctuated with, well, you know, it's time for me to start playing the guys that really care. It's time for me to really start, you know, making some changes in this group. It's time for me to do this, that, and the other. And then, you know, you watch the game at Ole Miss, and he's playing 11 different guys, you know, 8 minutes into the game. So all that talk about, you know, moving guys around and changing and all that really hasn't come to fruition. Will it finally against Murray State Friday? Will you actually see a significant shift and a reduction from these veteran guys like, you know, presumably Lester Quinones and DeAndre Williams, Landers Nolly are the ones that are most obviously being talked about. Will you actually see a reduction in their playing time?
I'll believe it when I see it. And honestly, on this end, it actually might be a good thing because Penny kind of acknowledged last night that the last couple games they haven't been using that full court trap, full court press, which I thought was another kind of one of those strange tactical things. He said he kind of lost his way. He wants to get back to that. And considering how Murray State plays, they want to get up and down too. I imagine that we'll still probably see maybe double-digit guys playing. The hope I think you have to try to find is that come Alabama on Tuesday and Tennessee, maybe that will be the time where he only plays maybe 8 guys, or if he does play 10 guys, maybe they're coming just to get a blow as opposed to having 11 different guys play 10 minutes or whatever the case may be. But he just has to let those guys find the rhythm early in the game because they started off hot against Ole Miss, but it's not even 4 minutes into the game and you're already doing a platoon swap. So I think he has to give these players longer leashes, whether it be the veterans or the freshmen, and maybe you'll start to see more rhythm like we kind of saw in the second half against Georgia on offense at least.
Do you think that Alex Lomax was the player of the week? Penny did.
I mean, they didn't have anybody just had a great week. So I guess by default, I mean, he did. Hey, he had 14 against Georgia. He's making his last 3. I mean, I can't. There's nobody obviously I can go in his place. So I got to ride with Penny on that.
It's just such a, I don't know. It's so strange to me, and it's just an indictment that things have come this far in terms of the amount of talent and who's playing for the team and all that stuff and the position they're in. It's night and day compared to when things started when Penny arrived, and yet they're still relying on Alex Lomax. It's still the same old thing. Like Tyler Harris, Alex Lomax, guys that have been around from the very beginning were the ones that were being called upon late in that game. I don't get it, man. I just don't get that.
I just think he's loyal. He might be loyal to a fault, you could argue. He's known those Memphis guys for such a long time, high school, middle school, all of that. So there's this trust, and he said it a couple times. Like I forgot the game where you went with Alo instead of Earl Timberlake down the stretch. He's gonna go with what he knows, and he knows those guys. He's trying to get to know Jalen. He's trying to get to know Imani and Josh. But even with Josh, he said he was cheating him out of minutes for a veteran. So that's just kind of something that you got to be able to trust the guys that you bring in. You know, you're not going to always have a 4, 5, 6-year relationship with these players like you have with a Tyler, or Alo, a Malco, and things of that nature. So I just think that's just kind of off the court. You know, maybe it's a positive as being that loyal, you know, being somebody that has trust in the people around them. But on the basketball court, I'm not sure it's the best quality to have when you're taking minutes away from gifted guys, to giving them to lesser talented players that aren't always producing and deserving.
If Penny had an opportunity to redo one decision that he made, whether it was something he did in the offseason or recruiting or whatever, during the season, whatever, what do you think it would be?
I think he would have, and they went hard at some point guards, but I think he would have really, really put a even stronger emphasis on finding a true point guard. Just because this Imani Bates experiment, it's a lot. It was always going to be a lot to ask of a 17-year-old who has kind of played it in high school, but it's a much different position in college than it is when you're playing on the EYBL, the high school circuit. So I think he would have pressed some of the point guards, or even got maybe somebody that might have been quote unquote lesser talent to some of the guys they were involved with. But I got to imagine that he's wished he would have landed a point guard. I don't think he would change anything else. You know, the schedule, the guys they brought in. You probably just wish you had one more piece and maybe one more experienced point guard that could really just do something on offense at a high level. I know Alo's played well on that end to his standards these last couple of games, but it's a glaring hole, and maybe that would have allowed Imani kind of to continue that hot start we saw after those first 3 games.
Well, and that's part of it. I mean, you look at also a guy like Kennedy Chandler, who's going off at Tennessee, and you know, again, it's wild to think that you could have somebody like Jalen Duren who gets 3 shots in that game against Ole Miss, or Imani goes 1 of 10, or you see these guys that physically, I understand they're young and they've reclassified and all that, but it's just it's hard to imagine that it turned out quite like this. And things don't get any easier because I mean, Stephen, they play a Murray State team in kind of the Ja Morant special, and Murray's pretty good. I mean, Murray's a good team. I mean, statistically speaking, in all the power rankings, all that stuff, they're as good or better than Ole Miss in most of them.
Hey, look, I know Murray State's schedule hasn't been great, but with the way they're playing, they're clicking, and the way Memphis is playing, it might not matter. So this is a game. It was always going to be a trap. Even if they handled their business against Ole Miss and Georgia, it was always had the makings of a trap game just because of their style. They have a history of not being intimidated by these high major teams. So that's a game that, I mean, Memphis is at home. I think the Tigers will likely handle business. I mean, I'll give Penny this. They really don't lose at the Forum most of the time. So they should handle business, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is another stressful game late into the second half. And, it feels like a long shot right now, but we know they have the talent. If they're able to somehow come out of this 3-game stretch 2-1, there's no doubt that it would be a disappointment, but you would still have a really good win over a top 25 SEC team. We'll see what Virginia Tech will do kind of when they get into their conference play. So it will be a disappointment, but you would still arguably probably be in a good spot to make it to the NCAA tournament, even if it's in a lower seed than you originally thought for this team.
Steve, if you had to move we're definitely going to have to move the goalpost of expectation for this team. So are we saying that it's NCAA tournament, making the NCAA tournament period? That's where we're at with the team so far? I mean, right now at this point?
I would say so. Now, I wouldn't say that would be you're happy because, I mean, at the end of the day, this team had the talent to be a Final Four contender. Right. I mean, even with the missed point guard spot, there's still so much talent. 4 guys that earned first-round NBA draft buzz. So that would still be a disappointment, but at the end of the day, you haven't made the tournament in, 7 years? I wouldn't call it a successful season, but it is something that Penny Hardaway can kind of get off his back, that he finally made it to the tournament. And at this point, you can call it moving the goalposts, but you got to kind of accept the situation for what it is. Right now, they don't look like a team that's going to make it to the second weekend of the tournament. if things go right, they look like they can still make the tournament. So you just got to kind of mentally prepare yourself that they're probably not going to reach the expectations of preseason. But, you know, if you make the tournament, it's not a complete failure. It's a bit of a failure, but not a complete failure.
Well, there's a lot on the line. It's a lot of intriguing stuff that's happening. We're going to find out a whole lot more about this team coming up in the next little bit because you got Murray State, you got Tennessee, you got Alabama. Alabama just got done waxing Gonzaga. You know how well Tennessee's playing. So this thing is if they don't beat Murray State, and you could be looking at a 6-7 game losing streak. I mean, this becomes a huge backstop to because you're not going to be favored in either one of those games next week. So this looms large, Stephen. We'll check back in and see how it goes because boy, there's this
All right,
thing
man.
could
Appreciate
go.
y'all.
Oh, yeah, bro.
This thing, appreciate you, man. This thing could go either way. Wins in the next few games could reignite everyone and get people right back where they need to be, especially if you can beat Alabama and Tennessee. All of a sudden now you're right back where you need to be. If you lose all these games, it could get real ugly. So I don't know, man. This is one of the more pivotal stretches in recent memory for the Tigers coming up over the next week and a half. We'll continue to discuss that when we come back. Also, we'll get back into the Grizzlies a little bit as they won their fifth in a row and once again never trailed for their fifth in a row. Pretty remarkable stuff. We'll talk about that, the rest of the NBA. Get into a little college football, too, as we continue here. Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
The Christmas sale is happening now at Family Leisure. Did you know that's where Santa goes to shop? Oh, yes. Why? Because arcades are up to 25% off. Air hockey and foosball tables, they start at just $149.99. You can get great deals on hot tubs and saunas. Let me tell you, that is perfect for the winter weather. Trampolines, up to 20% off. This is the best time to buy. Pool tables and shuffleboard tables in stock and ready for delivery. They're not waiting on a boat somewhere. Speaking of delivery, those schedules are filling up very, very fast. So reserve your date now just in time for Christmas. It's the Family Leisure Christmas Sale. It's happening now. Remember, shop early, shop local, and shop where Santa shops. It's Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40. It's where family and fun come together for the holidays.
The People's Choice Awards, hosted by Keenan Thompson, is the only award show chosen by you, the people. So let Keenan hear you.
With nominees in every category.
TV,
movies,
music, pop culture,
and performances from your favorite artists.
Christina Aguilera,
Blake Shelton.
some cool surprises,
Plus huge icon award winners.
Halle Berry,
Dwayne Johnson.
Kim Kardashian West.
and more.
Hosted by me, Keenan Thompson. The People's Choice Awards, live tonight on NBC and E! And the red carpet starts first, live from E!
The Memphis Tigers are once again teaming up with the city of Memphis for the annual Tiger Toy Drive to help families in need during the holiday season. Bring a new unwrapped toy to the women's game against Southern December 4th and you'll get free admission to the door. In addition, if you bring a new unwrapped toy to either men's game against Murray State December 10th or Alabama December 14th, you'll receive up to 2 free tickets to the Alabama State game December 21st. Come watch the Tigers and donate to a great cause.
Action247.com is your Tennessee sportsbook for same-day pay. Action247.com. Local, legal. A sportsbook by Tennesseans, for Tennesseans. Win a little or win a lot. Action247 has same-day pay. The other guys make you wait for your winnings. No more waiting with Action247 same-day pay. Visit us online at Action247.com. Local, legal. Action247. You got action.
Problem gambling? Call 1-800-889-9789.
Now, back to Sports 56 Grind Time. Here once again are Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane.
Hour number 2 continues here, live and local. Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5. Come on now. Someone's gonna.
There's something about this that I said. I'm not sure if you totally agree with me on this Tiger basketball stuff. Because I kind of feel like it's just me and not too many other people saying.
Which I see the point of what you're saying. Okay.
No, not what I'm telling you. What I told you. That's a total different thing. On the whole Larry Brown and Rasheed Wallace thing, I never get excited like on the court like X's and O's what those two hires would do. They sounded good to see those names pop up on, the news or Sports Center or whatever. But but if I'm a young new college basketball coach and I'm going to actually build a coaching staff, I'm not hiring Larry Brown or Rasheed Wallace. Just being honest, I'm going to hire I don't know a name. You probably tell me a name, but I'm going to try to hire somebody off of somebody else's bench who's got experience, knows what he's doing. He's an offensive tactician, could very well be a head coach. I'm hiring that guy. I'm not hiring the 81-year-old Larry Brown. I'm not hiring Rasheed Wallace at all. I'm hiring whatever. I don't know. Because still to this day, I'm asking the same question they asked me first hired Rasheed Wallace. Like, who did hiring Rasheed Wallace assist us in recruiting? Like, what's the connection to Rasheed Wallace and any of those kids? Like, I've never gotten an answer on it. I don't think that's a real thing. I don't think he really swayed those kids coming here one way or another. I think that all came down to NIL stuff. I don't think Rasheed Wallace won either one of those kids here.
No, I don't think so either. It's a really interesting question. I don't know. I think this goes back to what we were talking about, really before the season started, with regard to Penny and his with regard to his assistant coaches and how he treats assistant coaches and what he sees in assistant coaches. Mm-hmm. I mean, by and large, best I can tell, it's basically been a either somebody. It was either friends of his. Yeah. No, it was either friends of his or people that he knew that had NBA connections, or
his family, yeah,
or people that were foisted upon him for whatever reason, or some other type of connection. Mm-hmm. In the case of Larry Brown, it was something that he'd just kind of wanted. It seemed like he really got it in his mind that that's what he wanted, and it became sort of almost a flex to get him. When he was being pursued to some degree by the Orlando Magic this summer. Like, mm-hmm. I don't. But when he gets these assistant coaches, who he's gone through, fairly quickly, I don't know that it ends up being a positive experience. Look at what's happened to the other assistant coaches. Larry Brown was not. I don't think it's out of pocket to say he wasn't going to be, doing a whole lot of if he hadn't been here. He wasn't going to be out there coaching, somewhere else. Rasheed Wallace was going to be coaching with Bonzi Wells at Lemoyne Owen. Mike Miller went from coaching the Tigers to coaching high school to now not
being
coaching. Being an agent. So, it's not like you've got this great factory of coaches that these guys are moving on, but they're moving on to head coaching jobs, or they're moving on to some other thing. They're moving out of the business. They're not
out of this altogether. Sam Mitchell. Sam Mitchell probably was the most competent, easily the most competent.
And Sam's out of the business. Yeah. And Sam's out of the business too. Yeah. So, but it just tells you that from a quality standpoint, I'm not sure what he's getting, and I'm not sure what he wants.
Exactly. And then you had Coach JJ here, who's been a phenomenal high school coach. We had JJ on as a guest all the time. He knew the game very well. But if you want to talk about actual experience, Jermaine Johnson was probably had more experience than most of the people that he brought on board as far as being a coach on any level. You know what I mean? So it's all just so strange, man. I don't really know. Like you said, I don't know what he's looking for in an assistant coach. Those are the things when you come out saying y'all pray for the team. I laugh. Because I'm like, Penny, you're not even doing everything that you could be doing, man.
But this is why, I just think it's I'm not, by no means do I intend to belittle anybody talking about religion or prayer. Or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
We're not doing that. I mean, people's spirituality and their religion is their business. Yeah. No worries. I do think it's absolutely ridiculous to pray for positive results for your team. I think that's just, I can't imagine a God that is interested in that at all.
Not the
I can't imagine
not
a
the
God
basketball
that would,
gods.
a God that would allow a God that's not going to stop COVID before he stops a losing streak. I mean, I can't imagine a God that's going to make that consideration. I just can't do it.
God took Tiger Woods from us, but he's going to help us.
Because right now we got a real bad losing streak going on this earth.
Right.
So we need to stop that one if you want to start talking about taking some L's. So I can't imagine that. And even more than that, I just can't imagine what other coach sounds like that or does that. It sounds ridiculous. And is berating his own players on a regular basis, and even asking Steven's like, I don't know. I mean, he's like, I'm glad he does it because it's great for my content, but I don't know why he does it. Like I don't either. There's nothing good can come of it.
Hey, Peter,
if you want to berate guys behind the scenes, I guess. But like putting it out there on Front Street, hey, Monty told me he was scared. He didn't want to play. He didn't want to start. He said he was worried. Like, man, you're just setting that kid up. It's not helpful.
Yeah,
that's not helpful.
Hey guys, I just wanted to ask you: Is it fair to kind of comp Penny with Juwan Howard at this moment?
I can't tell you nothing Juwan Howard's ever said.
Well, not necessarily said, but from
why would you
wins and losses.
wins
and losses.
No.
Okay.
No.
Michigan was like one of the better teams in college basketball.
Yeah.
But shouldn't Penny be doing the same thing he is?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I can't. Oh, you saying
compare.
for sure,
Compare.
Penny
that's what I'm saying.
ahead of Howard.
Okay, that's what I was. Yeah, my bad. That's what I mean. Like, shouldn't we be able to
yeah.
compare him to Juwan Howard and what he has going on up there?
I get what you're saying. Yeah, for sure. Penny should be doing better than him by comparison.
I mean, the thing is that Juwan Howard was an assistant coach for the Heat for 6 years, though, before he became a head coach.
That is true.
Penny didn't really. I mean, he cut his teeth in the AAU circuit and in eighth grade and in high school, where you are unquestionably the man, and there's no politics. There's no, I mean, there's some politics in AAU, whatever, but it's different. It's not, the stakes aren't as high. You're not talking about the fan base and all that stuff. In college, it's a whole different thing, and especially with this many this much political stroke and all that stuff coming through.
And doesn't he have Phil Martelli on his bench as well? Isn't Phil Martelli on the Michigan bench?
He's got some vets on that bench, I think, for sure.
Okay.
But you can't it's not like Penny was in high school coaching up the local kids in the neighborhood, at the neighborhood school up to a state championship. He's going out and building super stack teams, all-star teams, and getting these kids to go play at East High School. It's not like he had any type of competition at all, but I don't know, man. It's just Penny just seems very stubborn in this whole situation. And there's so many things he can control. Somebody text me something. Let me read this one. Hold on. Okay, stop. Texter says, "Are you kidding me, Anthony? Do you not know the history of Larry Brown?" Yeah, his life started. Today is the anniversary of Pearl Harbor. Larry Brown was 1 year old when it happened. So yeah, I do know the history of Larry Brown. He's 81 years old. I don't know why you guys are thinking when I say this stuff, I don't understand that he's one of the greatest coaches of all time. The game has passed him by. He's not relevant in today's college basketball. Yes, I know he coached 5 years ago. The team made the tournament. His assistant coaches led that team for him. He was more of a figurehead at that point than anything. Larry Brown was not doing anything. He was sitting at home. He was not coaching anybody. There are a ton more coaching hires that would have made more sense for this particular situation than hiring Larry Brown, who does nothing. There's no evidence that Larry Brown is in charge of anything with this team. You guys are just throwing out this name, Larry Brown, but he's not. Show me something tangible that Larry Brown is responsible for with this Tiger basketball team, and I'll have this argument with y'all. But right now, there's no. It sounds good to say yes, Larry Brown is the assistant coach for this team, but what is Larry Brown's role? What is he doing? What does he have total charge of with this team? That's what I want to know.
Yeah,
I understand Larry Brown's history. He could have been the Memphis State basketball coach in 1970 something. That's also a true story. It's 2021. Larry Brown is 81 years old.
He hadn't been an assistant coach since 1967.
Man, come on,
under
man.
Dean Smith.
About? Yeah, what are we talking about, bro?
When he was like a student assistant or something. It's just.
And then tell me about the great, like fast-paced, up and down, putting points on the board offense. Larry Brown was the head coach of. Come on, y'all, come on, man.
Let's just go fire. Let's just go fire Penny and hire Rick Pitino from Iona. If we get Rick Pitino from Iona,
some good controversy in here, man.
Rick Pitino will win a championship with these guys.
I'm out, man.
It's very frustrating to imagine and to see what this has kind of turned into, because it obviously could have been a lot different. It could have been a whole lot different. It should have been a whole lot different, and there's still time. I mean, there's still time. I'm not saying it's over by any stretch of the imagination, but for sure there is a huge hole that has to be climbed out of, and I just don't have a great deal of confidence right now in the people that are in charge. It just doesn't. Penny seems to go from one extreme to the other. He's either got to come out in the Polaris and want all the smoke and all that, or he needs to be just ripping and destroying. There's not a lot of in between, and that's not. I don't think that's very helpful. When in the scheme of things, because this team needs some stability, and right now, it's just one thing to the next, and they're just one game away from chaos and all this stuff. I don't necessarily understand it at all. One thing I do understand though is TNT Tuesdays on FanDuel Sportsbook. That's right, you can turn every Tuesday, and today, let me just double check my calendar. Yep, today happens to be Tuesday. You can turn every Tuesday, including this one, into payday with TNT Tuesdays on FanDuel Sportsbook. It doesn't matter if you win or lose, although let me just be honest with you, you should probably, hopefully you win. But it doesn't matter if you win or lose. FanDuel is giving all customers $10 back every Tuesday. Just bet a $10 or more same-game parlay on any NBA on TNT game. So you check the schedule, you look ahead, you say, oh, bro, let's see, we got Nets and the Mavs tonight on TNT. You've also got the Celtics and the Lakers. Let me throw in a little same-game parlay action on either one of those two games. And if you do a $10 same-game parlay, you're going to get $10 back every Tuesday, whether you're a new or an existing customer. It's so easy to use. It's great with odds boosts and specials. Live betting goes on every single night. Check it out. It is every single day, for that matter, on FanDuel Sportsbook. And if you're new to FanDuel, just sign up with promo code BIGHEAD. That's right, promo code BIGHEAD to get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. Make every moment more this NBA season. Promo code BIGHEAD will get you there exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Must be 21 and older and present in Tennessee. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max bonus $10. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call TN Redline 1-800-889-9789. We'll wrap this thing up. I'll get back into the Grizzlies a little bit. Take your texts as well on the AutoZone listener line here in the Family Leisure Studios. Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5.
Hi, this is Eli Savoy from Sport 56 Mornings. I want to wish all of you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday season. And don't forget to join Greg Gaston and me weekday mornings from 7 to 10 right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Is your bank standing in the way of you and your sportsbook? Try Action 24/7. We're cutting out the middleman. Deposit or withdrawal in cash. No more bank delays or failures. Action 24/7 has more than 100 partners in Tennessee for cash deposits and withdrawals. Visit action247.com for a location. Cash deposits and withdrawals from your Tennessee sportsbook. Action247.com. You got action.
Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee. For problem gambling support, call 800-889-9789.
Did you know that over 90% of male enhancement pills are virtually the same thing that's repackaged, redone over and over again? Why settle for the same old product when you can get something completely different? Something that takes male enhancement into the 21st century. Something that really works. Men, you need to try Noxitrol, the explosive, all-natural male enhancement formula that will unlock your performance in the bedroom to a level you could only dream of. Try to imagine that little blue pill on steroids. Noxitrol is so powerful. That's why it took years for it to finally become available to the public without a prescription. So call now and take advantage of our special Noxitrol free bottle offer today. Oh yeah, we recommend that you use the Noxitrol dose as directed. Think of your partner. We certainly don't want you to overperform in the bedroom.
Call now and find out how to get a free bottle of Noxitrol while supplies last. Call 1-800-231-8913. That's 800-231-8913. Free bottle for limited time. Call now. 800-231-8913. 800-231-8913.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Brian Elder, 867-0303. Hurricane season is upon us. Is your roof ready? Are your shingles laying down and sealed properly? Call me right now, 867-0303. They say you get what you pay for. That's why my opinion is free. Maybe you've got years of life left in your roof. If so, I'll tell you that. But if I find storm damage or a compromised roof system, I'll lay out some options for you. Don't let them tell you it needs to be replaced if it only needs a repair. Call me, 867-0303. Has your insurance company already seen it and rejected your claim? Maybe they're correct. Most of the time, they're not. They do tend to become more reasonable once I get involved, though. 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Now, back to Sports 56 Grind Time. Here once again are Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane.
Little journey on this Soft Rock Tuesday. So nice.
It goes with the weather outside, hey.
Indeed. Hour number 2, wrapping up. We've talked a little potential trade. We've talked a little bit about the Grizzlies, who continue to be one of the surprise teams over the last few weeks. I got to ask you, Anthony Sane, as a certified Dylan the Villain homer and a seller of Dylan the Villain shirts at Asylum Tees901.com. How do you feel justified, vindicated? Do you feel proud? How do you feel watching Dylan just blossom into one of the better all-around wings in the NBA?
I love it. It's one of the things that I always stand on, that if you're going to be a championship team, you're going to have a Dylan Brooks type player on your team. It's a guy who's nuts, but he actually contributes on the basketball court as well. I don't know if you guys have read the articles that Drew Hill from the Daily Memphian has put out, some of the quotes he's got in there. It's just some of the things that I noticed about Dylan from being within distance to hear him. You know what I mean? And to see him in different environments, whether it's the locker room or in the back or whatever. He's a lunatic, for sure. And he talked about how he motivates guys, and he has pride in himself, and it's contagious, man. It's contagious throughout the team, and he's went from being a guy who, we were talking about trading for a hot and ready pizza and those kind of jokes and all those type of things, but he definitely has value to this team. He came up big in the biggest moments in the playoffs, battling against Donovan Mitchell and the like, and he's became synonymous with the city over time, and he's been a great player. And as a person who does sell shirts on the SilentTees901.com, where you can get the Grizz Kids as well as the what's it called, Be the Storm shirt now available. Dylan Brooks' turnaround definitely has been beneficial. He was the item of the summer last year, so yeah, shout out and thank you. Well, and I thank you.
He's played extremely well. The other guy that's getting a lot of attention. It was weird because I saw that Molly from tweeted out about I want more people to talk about Desmond Bain. Everyone's talking about Desmond Bain. Desmond Bain's getting a ton of attention. I'm not sure where she's not looking at who's talking about Desmond Bain. Desmond Bain's playing phenomenal, and he seems to have taken a huge step in this season. And man, seeing him come on like this, because from a 30th pick, it's hard to do that kind of stuff. Santi Aldama's a 30th pick also, so the difference there is pretty staggering. Do you think this is the new level for Desmond Bain? Like, is this what you expect from here on out? A guy that can play this well with the ball in his hands, in addition to being obviously an elite shooter.
I can't remember who it was on Twitter, but he said that he's like, am I crazy for seeing a young Mitch Richmond in Desmond Bain? I was like, dude, yeah. It's not just the physical nature of, because Mitch Richmond was unnecessarily swole too, just like Desmond Bain is. But the ability to knock down threes, not a guy who's particularly going to just take you to the rack, but he could create his own shot a little bit. Mitch Richmond's one of those guys. He played in the Jordan era. Was kind of unappreciated as being one of those, scoring shooting guards like that. But Bane's incredible, man. I think he's a guy for sure who can be a guy that you can count on to give you those 15 to 20 points a night. He's taking 8 threes a game, I believe. Yeah, man. Find a way to shoot more, man. You know what I mean? Because I think my boy Memphis X, he put out a tweet showing some crazy numbers by comparison between Klay Thompson and Desmond Bane at the same age. Klay Thompson, at age 23, it was his third season in the league. He's playing 35 minutes a game. Desmond Bane plays 28. These are all per 36 numbers as well. His points were 18.7 points. Desmond Bane is at 20.2 points in per 36. Assists is 2.3 to 2.5. Rebounds 3.1 to 5.5 for Desmond Bane. 3-point attempts 6.7 for Klay Thompson and 8.1 for Desmond Bane. So he's shooting more per game than young Klay Thompson was. Free throw attempts 2.3 for Klay, 1.7 for Bane. Percentages, Desmond Bane for his career 47%, 40% from three, 90% from the free throw line. Incredible numbers for Desmond so far. So that's comparing.
Well, and I think that's I'm not saying that he's going to be Klay Thompson necessarily because Klay is taller and longer and all that stuff.
One of the better defenders in the league.
Yeah, Klay was an incredible defender, and the fact that he's got that length and height allows him to be more versatile than Bane. But Bane's a good defender considering his physical limitations. He's got such short arms and all that, but he's super jacked and swole and all that, so that helps to allow him to be physical with a lot of guys. I mean, man, he is such a good. His shot is like one of the purest shots I've ever seen. It never looks like it's going to miss. When he had that stretch where he missed 18 straight, like I don't know how in the world he ever missed. Like it was so shocking to watch him miss because it just looks perfect. Every shot looks perfect. He's made such a difference having him out there to be able to continue to keep the spacing where it needs to be. And then once again you have to give the shout out to Jaren Jackson Jr. Those three guys have been really and truly the difference makers. All of them, they've played so well. And man, to watch, I don't know, Anthony. It's hard for me to quantify this. I can't. There are plenty of ways to quantify Jaren Jackson Jr.'s improved play, and I've told you about some. You can definitely quantify it with plus minuses. You can definitely quantify it with his numbers, all that stuff. But it's more than that. Watching him play, he looks so much more confident. You watch him play, when he drives to the basket now, he's not sort of going up kind of tentatively. Like he's going up with power. He's shooting those contested mid-range shots with confidence. He's handling the ball with confidence. He's really stepping into all of his shots, even if they don't necessarily fall. He just looks mentally like he's turned that corner. And I back at the early beginning part of the year, I wasn't sure if he was going to. Wasn't sure if he was going to be able to turn that corner.
Super worried about it.
And to his credit, he has. And he looks now he's playing like a guy that knows he's one of the best players in the league, which is huge for him.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely excited about that. I'm also excited to see how it seems like DeAnthony Melton is kind of fitting into his role. Last year he seemed a little disgruntled because there were games where he got DNPs, games where he wasn't really getting a lot of minutes in the rotation. But this year he seems like he's settled in with that second unit, being the backup shooting guard. And he had a big game last night as well. Had that nice shot right before the half. Defensively, he's been making crazy plays during this 5-game stretch as well. Just really glad to see DeAnthony kind of settling in. That his jump shot is coming back around. It doesn't really look like the numbers he had last year were a fluke. He's still shooting the ball pretty well this year. So yeah, I'm excited to see what he's doing also.
He's doing some pretty amazing stuff. So the whole team's making it work, and I give him a lot of credit for doing so. They'll play Dallas again tomorrow night, likely with Luka Doncic this time, rather than without, and probably Porzingis as well. We will see how that goes. We mentioned all the coaching situation, the craziness that's happening. Miami does make it official with Mario Cristobal, as he's signed up for 10 years, $80 million. Huge buyout for Manny Diaz, who was treated pretty terribly at the end of this thing. And just kind of thrown out like yesterday's trash in the middle of all this. Cristobal moves down from Oregon, where, you think Phil Knight and all that money up there, it'd be hard to just kind of, crowbar the guy away, but he's got the connection. Obviously went down. He was at Miami and has a huge connection down there. And they are spending money. For the longest time, they didn't want to spend any money. There wasn't a lot of money to spend for Miami. They are now spending like back in the old days. And, with the new NIL culture, that should fit perfectly for them. Also, that's something to kind of keep an eye on. Going forward is what happens to them. What happens to them in the midst of all this? Do they get their swagger back? There's plenty of opportunity for them to do that. Luke Fickell, the Cincinnati head coach, named the National Coach of the Year from the coaches. That was the coaches part of the award. The media award will be on Friday. I assume he'll probably win that as well.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah. Real fast before we end the show, something else on the Grizzlies I don't know how we made it through the show without me thinking about this too. During this 5-game stretch, nobody scored 98. Nobody scored 100 points. Am I correct?
Nope. I think 90 was the max yesterday, wasn't it?
98 was 98. Something like that. Is that, bro, what in the world? Like, who does that in 2021? Like,
wow.
The Zebo week, man. They're channeling some of that Zebo.
That grit and grind
some of that grit and grind, man.
I hate to say it, but yeah, that's definitely what it feels like, for sure.
It's for sure. It is similar. I hate to say it, but it's absolutely true. It's similar. Well, we got to get out of here. Coming up next, Sports Time, Gabe and Brett will take you all the way to 6 o'clock. A lot to discuss on that program. Everybody have yourself a great Tuesday. We'll be back with our buddy John Gassaway, among others, tomorrow on the show. Have yourself a great Tuesday.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Did you notice your water heater not heating as well last winter? During the cold winter months, the groundwater is colder and requires more energy to heat the water, and sometimes old, inefficient tank water heaters just can't keep up. It may be time for a tankless water heater from Conway Services that never runs out of hot water. Conway Services is making now the perfect time for a new tankless water heater with 12 months interest-free, or I'll pay you $250 for that old tank water heater. Plus, the energy-saving models only heat the water you use, saving you money on your gas bill every month. And no more worrying about that tank bursting in your attic either. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier tankless water heater professionals at 384-3511. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old water heater will come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
The People's Choice Awards, hosted by Keenan Thompson, is the only award show chosen by you, the people. So let Keenan hear you.
With nominees in every category.
TV,
movies,
music, pop culture,
and performances from your favorite artists.
Christina Aguilera,
Blake Shelton.
some cool surprises,
Plus huge icon award winners.
Halle Berry,
Dwayne Johnson,
Kim
Kardashian West,
and more.
Hosted by me, Keenan Thompson. The People's Choice Awards, live tonight on NBC and E! And the red carpet starts first, live from E!
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every dollar you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
They say this game can take you far. Your moves can take you further. Make moves that start movements.
Hennessy, spirit of the Memphis Grizzlies.
Need to sell your home? You're in luck because I buy houses. All you have to do is call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that PIN, 901-406-1101, or just save it in your phone. Bill at I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses buys houses in any area, in any condition, at any time, as simple as that. I Buy Houses is guaranteed to close in 5 days. So if you need your cash fast, just call Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. Has your house been on the market? Were you just tired of renters? Or is it just time to start over? Well, avoid repairing, cleaning, painting, and prepping your house. Just pick up the phone and call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses. If you're in Southwind, South Memphis, North Mississippi, North Memphis, Collierville, if you can hear this, just call my friend, Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.